Now, I don't know about you, but I get pretty concerned when people start showing me pictures of Biden and he's looking at his card. He doesn't know where people are. He doesn't remember being. You can go through the list. He doesn't remember being in Ireland. You would think after the whole Ireland, and he confuses his wife with his sister. And anyway, what do you do? What does the Constitution say? Well, forget the Constitution. Here's his guaranteed insurance policy. Kamala Harris. You want to get rid of him? Kamala Harris. That's your, you like that? Go ahead, get rid of him. Not so fast. See what I mean? Sometimes I find myself thinking, am I giving them too much credit for brilliance, or do things just happen? 25th Amendment, ratified 1967. This is after Kennedy's assassination. What do we do? What's going on here? Section 1, in the case of the removal of the president from office or his death or resignation, the vice president becomes president. That wasn't always clear. Whenever there was a vacancy in the office of the vice president, the president shall nominate the vice president. Okay, we've been through that. Number 3. Whenever the president transmits to the president pro tem of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that he is unable to discharge the duties and powers of his office, and until he transmits to them a written declaration to the contrary, such powers shall be in the vice president. Remember in I think Bush, Reagan had a colonoscopy. Remember that one? I remember that because nobody really knew what a colonoscopy was, and polyps. And one day, remind me to tell you a funny story about that, but not now. Remember, he wrote. He says, "I'm going to turn it over to Vice President Bush." He did, and then he came back. I think Bush was like president for like an hour. Saturday Night Live did one of the funniest things. They said, the Bush presidency, a look back. It was like an hour. And then later on, I think Bush had something like that. So that's that. So he can do it. He can say, listen, I'll be out for a while. I'm back. Okay. Remember, after Reagan was shot in 1981, nobody knew what to do. He's not dead, thank God, but what happens? Very interesting. This is where it gets interesting. Section 4. Whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal offices of the executive departments or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the president pro tem of the Senate and the Speaker of the House their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the office as acting president. Thereafter, when the president transmits to the president pro tem his written declaration that no inability exists, he shall resume the powers. So it goes on. And by the way, I did some quick research on this today. I'm not going to bore you with this. It's a mess. Nobody's really sure exactly what the hell happens. But here's the best part. Kamala Harris. Do you want Kamala Harris? How do you think it must feel to be Kamala Harris? Where people look to her and say, you don't want her, do you? Now, wait a minute. By the way, do you know how old she is, Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris is her age. I know what you're thinking. I did not know this. She is 58 years old. Did you know that? She is not a dumb woman. She may not be a great speaker. She may not be kind of quick on her feet. But she is not in any way dumb or mentally unable to grasp. No, stop it. You do that sometimes with AOC. Everybody's stupid. But with her, though, it's just, woo. It's two various reactions. With Joe Biden, his detractors will say, ooh, ooh. Oh, almost like, oh my God. Oh, ooh. Ah. It's like when you see like a loved one decline. Ooh, ooh. Ouch. Now with Kamala, when she does her thing where she basically says, I don't know what she says, these circular type of thing. We are here assembled because we are together in the assembly of which we have assembled. And therefore, we are amassed in this. She wouldn't say that, but those kind of like, ooh, same thing, but not as bad. Something like, ouch, wow. Remember when she was talking to the kids? And you can see the moon. Reminds me of Romper Room. Did you have Romper Room in your... Who was your Miss? We had Miss June. Remember Romper Room? Bend and stretch, reach for the sky. There goes Jupiter. Now, if you're bending and you see Jupiter, I know, a Uranus joke. I know what you're thinking. So the reality is, either way, you're not going to go through this. I don't even know. Good luck with even figuring this out. Good luck. The committee, this, what? And then Biden's going to come back with, I'm okay. He'll have a card that says, I'm okay. Remember when we thought that Joe Biden... We've never had... Let me put it this way. We've had people before who've had problems. Kennedy has had his disease, Addison's, and problems with his back, and he might have been gooned also with some Dr. Feelgood. Remember when he met with Khrushchev, they said he was waxed on some, I don't know what it was. FDR had his polio, of course, but that didn't affect his mentality. Woodrow Wilson with the strokes. Ike had a series of heart attacks. Lyndon Johnson was really, he had all, now we're learning about alcoholism after the fact, and Nixon, and we're learning all, we had no idea, but that didn't incapacitate you. Then we thought at one point that Dan Quayle, we thought he was so stupid he couldn't spell potato correctly. And we went crazy. People laughed at Gerald Ford, Chevy Chase, making fun of Gerald Ford falling down. Gerald Ford might have been one of the most athletic, if not the most athletic president of them all. Byron White was Supreme Court Justice, of course, but very Whizzer White, very, And we laughed at that. We thought Reagan was, towards the end, when Reagan, it was funny because his decline, they believe, might have been precipitated after his shooting, after being shot, because of either, not warming blood correctly or something. I always heard these theories. I'm not a physician. And even then it was hard to detect. Some closer people. Reagan did the old, but Biden, I'm sorry. Please, with all due respect, there is nothing funny about somebody in the decline of mentation, somebody who is going through these events. And I know we live in a very, very cruel world, and people, just think on Saturday Night Live, and by the way, I heard, because I never watch it, Jimmy Kimmel and others were for the first time even suggesting, even remotely commenting on the alleged senility or dotage or senescence or wizened decrepitude of the commander-in-chief. So I don't know. But the thing is, what keeps him in is Kamala Harris. That's his insurance policy. Now, what's going to happen later on? I have said to you this. I'm going to say it. Number one, I believe that the Democratic nominee will be who? Gavin Newsom. How this works, how it's done. Number two, as of today, and probably throughout, the Democrats are going to win again. They are unified. They are singular in focus, singular in message, singular and determined, unified in message. Not the Republicans. Republicans don't know what they're doing. Which branch of the Republican Party are you talking about? Think I'm kidding? Think I'm exaggerating? Absolutely not. I am telling you. I am telling you this, and listen carefully. I know what I'm talking about. I've seen this movie before. And I told you in 2020, Trump wasn't paying attention. He was too busy. I don't know what he was talking about. And now, I don't. Let me just ask you this question. Do you believe that the President Trump, former President Trump, wants to leave his life of the golf course, Mar-a-Lago, going places, seeing people? He can go back and forth. Does he look at the White House and say, I can't wait to go back? And I can't wait for all these people who want to be a part of my administration, part of my cabinet, a part of everything. I'm gonna pick up where I left off. Smooth sailing. I will be met. It will be the most. If you thought the original inauguration was bleak, I mean, I think Prince Charlie's, when Bette Midler is as good as it gets. Still, it was better than Trump's. Remember his inauguration? Who was it? Anthony Sabato? I don't know what the hell he was doing. And Dave, or was it Sam? Sam and Dave, I forget which one passed away. I think it was one. I don't know. Chachi showed up. I don't even remember that. Do you think Trump really is looking at the White House and says, I can't wait. Hey, Melania, tell Barron we're going back. Remember when we lived as prisoners? Yeah, we're going to go back. Come on, who's with me? Do you really think that? If he were to say yes, I think that might be kind of a priori 25th Amendment challenge. So anyway, think about that, my dear friends. Remember, always apply realism. Forget your wishes and your hopes and your wants. Don't listen to other people. Don't listen to these political pundits. They know nothing. And never, ever listen to the polls. Okay? Now do me a favor. Do me a favor. I want you to like this video. I want you to subscribe to the channel and comment as you see fit.